Hi guys, I hope you're doing absolutely amazing so far. Welcome to this video where we'll talk about how to create view modifiers and we'll talk about generics and view builder. So let's get started. So I've mentioned here the two things, custom view modifiers and the second thing, generics and view builders. We have a simple setup here where we will be having our custom view and advanced UI structure. Inside that, we will just run our examples one by one and we'll understand uh, all the two topics. And in the preview, we are just showcasing our structure so that it will run our example. So let's start with custom view modifiers. So we have one simple structure here. I'm going to actually comment all the code below. So because we are going to write the code. And when it comes to a structure, we have a simple text hello and some modifiers on it. Now imagine we had another text and we want similar text, similar modifiers. Then we'll have to copy and paste and this looks repetitive, right? Although we have same modifiers for this text as well, because this is a set of modifiers which actually makes a text uh, rounded this way looking kind of text. So that's why we use this text in this modifiers and in this order. And what we can do is we can actually narrow this down, create a custom modifier and just use that particular custom modifier like this. So let's create this custom modifier. All we have to do is create a structure here. I'll name it custom view or rounded text modifier, and we have to make it conform to view modifier. And we'll have to create a function body. It will accept a type content and we will have to pass it to this parameter here. So what this content is going to be is something we will showcase as it is, and that content is just our text, and upon that content we will apply our modifiers. So I will actually move it in here, and that's it. We have created custom modifier. Now to basically use it, we'll have to just create extension of view. And in here we'll have to call, let's create a quick function. I'll name it custom rounded text modifier, and it will return some view. Here we'll have to call self dot modifier, and inside that we'll give a structure, and that will be all. Now we can use this function as modifier on our view, and it will do the same thing. It takes the text as the content, and that content is upon which it will apply the same modifier. And now that we have the custom modifier, we know that the set of modifiers we are using here, we already have it here. So let's go ahead and use our custom modifier. So without the modifier, our text look like this simple text. As soon as we apply the modifier, it will appear with all the modifiers applied to it. And that is it. That is how simple it is to create the modifiers. And we generally create it when we know there are set of modifiers which are repetitive, and we have a combination of different modifiers which gives us a particular result that we want for some sort of view, and we are utilizing that view again and again multiple places. So it's good to have a custom modifier in place. It will narrow down your code, make it more organized and flexible. If you want to add one more modifier to text, then all you have to do is just add it here, and it will get applied to all the views in the sub part of this application as well. Everywhere it will it will get applied. Just make sure that the when you have a common set of modifiers, it's good to create the custom modifier in that case. And that is it. Let's move on to generics. So here what we have created, this is something we can take as an example whenever you want to revise the concept. I will move it here. So here is another modifier, and we created extension of the view, created a function, and then just mentioned it. So this is just another example. I will actually delete this so that it doesn't create confusion. And let's talk about generic reusable components. So I will move this down. We have first card, second card, and third card. Now, when do we use generics? So let's understand one example here, and then we'll understand exactly why do we need generics. So we have these three cards. The first card has vertical stack with a text, image, and some modifiers applied to the vertical stack. And in a similar way, we have the second card where the content is slightly different. We have the image before, and the image is different, and the text is like this. So think of it as some carousel in business level application. It has multiple cards, and the cards has different content. So we have the first card, second, and third card. In the third card, we have only text, and here we have image text, here as well image text. So basically what I'm trying to say is that the body is different for all the three cards. And let's utilize this quickly. So what the straightforward way to utilize it is, I've created a structure card carousel here, and I've created a horizontal stack and made the stack scrollable also in a horizontal manner. And I'm using first card, second card, third card. Let's render this. So I'll uncomment card carousel, comment this one. And here we have our card carousel. So first card, second, third card in the horizontal stack, and the stack is scrollable. I have utilized it one more time so that we can see you can see the scroll. Now this is just one way to use the card and create a carousel out of it. Now, right now we have the content, which is the only difference really. What we can do is create a generic card container and just pass on our content to it. This will eliminate the need of creating three separate structures. And also, what if we had multiple cards, more than 10 cards in the carousel? Then in that case, we will have to keep calling it one by one, create horizontal stack for it. And there are a lot more problems Basically, it all narrowed down to the code is not flexible and repetitive, and we have to create a lot many cards, third, fourth, fifth card for different content. So let's create a generic structure, and we will just pass on our content to it, and we will use that generic structure. So I will create a structure here, card container, and I'll make it conform to the view, variable body, some view. Now to create generic structure, let's give it some text so that error goes away. And to create generic structure, we'll have to create a generic type. So let's create the generic type T, or let's call it content, and it will be of type view. And this content will create a property here, which will be of this generic type T. We will utilize card container, and in here, the container, the content is something we will just showcase. So our container is just going to take the content and just display it. Now, the only thing is left is to initialize our property content here. So I'll create initializer, and actually I will remove this one provided, and I will create the initializer with the content, and in here I will actually create a closure signature. And actually, so this signature, why are we creating a closure signature? Something we'll understand in a second, but let's take this parameter and pass it to our property. So self dot content is equals to content. Now, why I use parentheses? Because this parameter is going to take closure body, or say function body. So it's really a function. So that's why I'm calling this function. Now, this is what we're doing here is just we're passing a function to a parameter of another function. That another function is really an initializer here. So we have learned in Swift course when we were talking about closures, that is we had a regular function and we convert that into a closure, and we were passing that closure as an argument to a parameter of another function. So that another function is initializer here in this case, and this is the parameter to which we are passing a function as an argument. Now, what is the argument? The argument is the function body, or say closure body. And here to pass that as an argument, the parameter should be having the type of the closure that we are passing, the closure body. So the type of that function or closure or signature of that function or closure is this, which is the input is nothing and it will return the content. And what we do is this is the way we can pass our content, and it will initialize our property that we will showcase. So let's use our card container now. So in our card carousel, I will actually comment this and create a new card carousel here. I will remove everything. Now in here, we can just use card container like this. And when you call the structure, create the instance of it, it will call the initializer. And let's take a look at this once again. And now it will mention you that this is the parameter of the initializer. So let's press enter. It is having the signature of the closure. All we have to do is pass the body of the closure here. So what I will do is create the closure body, and since there is no input, and it will just return the content. So all I have to do is mention the content here, and here exactly is when we can take our card content and just pass it here, and that will be all. So the first method was we can just use our structure like this, and now we are using the generic content, and now all we have to do is just use card container content. In here we will pass our card content. So let's pass the first card content and the second and the third as well quickly. So this is the first card content, so I will move it up, and this is our third. Let's create second one, and copy the second card content. Now, what is the difference here? We will understand, because previously we were also again calling our structures and we had to call every card, right? And here we are using generic container which can take the content, but we still have to call it 3 times, which is something we will have to do. We have to use the generic card container every time when we are passing new content to it. But let's see this in action first. Actually, let's use the horizontal stack and put this inside and make it scrollable. And we can see it works. The thing behind that is, what is the advantage of using the container is, I will actually remove this container and this carousel card as well. Actually, let's keep it. So when it comes to the benefit of the generic, you can see the difference is without generics. When we talk about 3 separate views, we have now with generics one reusable view. When we talk about repeated layout logic, for example, the modifiers. So the modifiers that we have, like padding, it's a common modifier among the 3 views. So this is something we can extract and put this inside the container wherever content lies. So any common modifier that applies to all the 3 cards, we can just bring that modifier in here in the container, in our generic container. So just like padding, there is a corner radius, although the color is different. So let's bring the padding. I will remove it from second card and third card as well. And let's bring it here. Now, what we are doing is actually we are providing the content here. So we need to move the padding from here. And we are no longer utilizing those 3 structures. So I'll comment it. And we have moved our dot padding from here to the content, the container, the generic container. Just like that, we can move corner radius as well and more common modifiers. And let's understand one quick thing, that is our add view builder. So when we talk about the generic content, the content we are passing to our generic container, how many views we can pass to it. So I'll just mention one line here first and we'll focus on that. So view builder lets you return multiple views from a closure. Here the closure is this closure that we are using to pass view, and view builder allows multiple views. So right now we have one single view. Let's understand when I say one single view. We have text and it is wrapped inside vertical stack. And there are some modifiers applied on our vertical stack. But this is just one thing. Vertical stack is there and it's just only vertical stack is there. There are some modifiers on it. This is just one single view is there. And this is getting passed to the content of the initializer of the card container, like here. And right now, since we have one single view, it is allowing you to pass it. But if we have one more view in it, let's say some random text, then it will not allow you to pass this view from the closure to the parameter of the initializer of the generic card container. And that is where the view builder comes into the picture. It lets you return multiple views from a closure. So what do we do that our closure, when we are giving the body of the closure, it will allow the closure to pass on multiple views. So the parameter is basically the name of the function. All we have to do is use add view builder here, and it will make the error go away. Now you can actually pass the first view, second view, and just like that, multiple views. And it is reflecting in our UI as well. And that is what view builder is. It's straightforward. It allows your closure to return multiple views. So text is one view and vertical stack is another view till here. Now let's focus on one thing. When you are going to move the common modifiers, let's see padding. We moved padding. Make sure you are moving it keeping a couple of things in mind. That is, the order is something that matters a lot. The padding, I just moved it, but the padding is something that should be first applied and then the background color, then the corner radius. So not just the modifiers which are common, but also the order matters. You can see in the view, the padding is applied, but only when the padding, only when the background and the corner radius was applied. After that, this went as a content to our card container, and after that, the padding is applied, which doesn't make sense because the order is different now. So it will give you a different output. If we use padding here, it will give you better outcome. So corner radius is also common in all of our three card views. So we can move this here and we no longer need it to pass it. And that is it. It applies the corner radius. You can see the corners are just, let's remove it and see the difference. Now we have the pointed corners and now we have the corners rotated or rounded. And that is it. That is what a generic container is and how it is useful. And when we talk about at view builder, it allows you to write or pass multiple views from a closure. And what we can do is we can take the common layout and extract it and move it to the container, generic container. When we talk about the three separate structures we had before, it is less flexible. And when it comes to generics, it's highly flexible, especially with using view builder. And this is just code for nodes. Actually, I'm gonna remove it so that it does not create any confusion. And here I have mentioned a separate example for ViewBuilder. This is the separate example for ViewBuilder where we have a container. I've named it container1 so that we don't get the redeclaration error. And our ViewBuilder example where we are using our generic container to pass on the content from the closure. And right now we are passing only one view text. If I pass one more, it will be a problem. So let's give it one more text. And it will give you the error. But if you use add view builder, then the error will go away. So that is just one quick example. I'm going to undo this actually and comment this so that it will be like an example that you can come to again and again just for revision. And here I've mentioned a quick note for what is view builder. Is a special SwiftUI result builder that lets you return multiple views from a closure without wrapping them manually in things like vertical stack. So we can definitely keep these two things. There is one more way. We can just keep it like create a vertical stack, and then both the text will be counted as one view. And we don't need the view builder in that case, but without vertical stack, when we just use text like this, they are separate views now. This is the first and this is second. And now they're counted as multiple views. So we will have to use add view builder. And that is what we have mentioned here. And I've also mentioned it's commonly used to accept child views in custom components, like how VStack and button does. It accepts views inside them. Whenever you create VStack, it is also using at view builder to take up your content. So if I create a simple VStack here, and if I give it a couple of, I give it one text, it's one view, but it can take multiple views. Disclosure of VStack can take multiple views. And that is possible because VStack is also using at view builder. Maybe let's take a peek in it. And here you can see at view builder. So the content that you are passing, and it is having the signature here. The signature is from here till here, the signature of the closure, and the content is marked as at view builder. And that is it. I will comment this. Actually, let's load our example as well. So I will load our third example, comment this one, and refresh. And there is one error, I think here it is appearing. We'll have to remove this. And it's loading, and it's showing our hello welcome, which is our two different views passed to the content using view builder. And that is it. Here also I have mentioned the same thing, so I'm going to remove it from here. This one as well. And that is it. We have talked about in this video about the custom view modifiers, generics, and when we use generics, the generic container can take the content having multiple views in it, and that's when we use add view builder. And that is it. I hope you find this video informative, and I will connect with you in the next one.